Hey everyone, I'm Steve, and this is Isla.
Hi!
Today we're going to do a walkthrough of Stop Motion Studio. Some of you may have seen it before when you had me come through the school and did the iPad sessions. Others, this may be your first time. Stop Motion Studio is a really cool app. It's available for free on Apple, Android, and even on the Kindle. So if you have any of those devices, you can download it and do the stuff that we're going to do today. There is a paid version, but we're not going to bother with that today. You're welcome to explore that and check the other features out, but since not everyone wants to pay the extra money, we're just going to show you what you can do for free today, which is quite a lot. It's an impressive app. So before we get started, let's make sure everyone knows what stop motion is. Isla, do you know what stop motion is?
Something that's not actually moving, it's making it look like it's actually moving.
Exactly. So, for instance, this Lego, we could make this Lego look like it's moving across the table when actually it's not. And of course, without it having our hand carried on. Can you think of any movies that you've seen that are stop motion?
Fantastic Mr. Fox and the Lego movies, because obviously they don't have people just walking around looking like Legos.
That's true. Fantastic Mr. Fox, by the way, if you haven't seen it, is one of the greatest stop motion movies ever made. Everything is crafted by hand. It took a long time. It's amazing. You should check it out. All right, so let's go ahead and do an overview of how it works. Now, we're going to start with something simple. I'd recommend starting that way because it gets you used to how the stop motion works. Okay, before we get started, a couple of tips for you. First one is keep your iPad or whatever device you're using stationary. Don't move it around. Don't hold it, because if you do, it wiggles. And when you're doing stop motion, every wiggle will make the camera look like it's shaking. You don't want to have that. So again, have it somewhere where it's not going to move. Ours isn't the best. It's in a Lego box, but whatever works. The other would be get some pieces, get some stuff ready, and make sure it's not too big. So I've had to move the iPad pretty far back in order to capture everything because we built it tall. The screen on here won't capture that much. It won't get something giant. So recommended, probably your thing should be maybe about as big as your hand, right?
As you build, you should check to see if you can still see all of it when you are doing it, because if it's over, it would just look a bit silly.
All right, so let's open up the iPad and do a walkthrough.
And then you press add movie, new movie, and then dismiss.
Yep. It'll give you a little tip when you first start. Now, is our scene all within the screen here?
Yes, you can see all of it. But
Okay, so we're going to start with something very simple. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to make it look like these blocks here are moving around. Again, simple. And actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is maybe a bit much right now for my first try. So I'm just going to stick with these 5 here. And all I want them to do is look like maybe they're going around in a circle. So the first thing I have to do, have them all where I want them to be set up, and hit the big red button, which takes a picture. Now you can see it's taking a picture because at the bottom here is a little picture. Now I can actually go back to that if I want to, but I'll show you that later. You may notice as I move, the camera focuses in and out. Always good practice to wait until it's focused before you take your next picture. So there's my first one. Now what I want to do is I want to move these pieces a tiny bit at a time. In each tiny motion, I take a picture. Now the smaller the motion, the more realistic it will look. So I'm going really, really small right here. Now one of the things that might happen is you might have, say, a 3-year-old little brother, and he may come along and say, I want to play with Lego, and knock all of the stuff out of the way. Now if that happens, it's not good, because you have to go and try to balance all your stuff back where it was.
But you don't actually really need to do that.
You do not. There's 2 ways you can do this. One, I can scroll back to see my other picture, and I can go back and forth to line it up. So I know that that is more here. Close. The other one is this little slider over here. This allows ghost mode. So if you notice, as I slide it down, even though none of those pieces are there, it still looks like they're there. And that's pretty close. So once that's done, I can actually leave ghost mode on. what that does is allow me to make tiny motions, and on my iPad I can see the motion. Take a picture. Now you can see there's no blur. I move it. Take a picture. So it's up to you. You can do that whichever way you like. I now have 16 pictures. I'm going to take a couple real quick and skip through. So it now says I'm at 25 of 25, which means I'm about to take my 25th picture. That would be about 5 seconds of a video right there. So for every 5 pictures, it's about 1 second of video. So before I show you that, one other thing. You might also, as you're taking your pictures, get your hand in it. If that happens, you just tap once on the picture, a menu will pop up. You'll have different options there. You can go through some of them, and we may look at them as well today. But the main one, delete. That'll get rid of that picture, and you can start again. Don't forget to retake the picture that you meant to take the first time. Alright, so I'm going to take off ghost mode, and let's play our video back. So you can see it looks like they're going around. Now, one of the other big mistakes I've made is I have Isla in my video. You don't want to have a giant person around your Lego, unless the whole thing would be that you're staring at them. You want to try to make sure there's nothing in the background as well. But yeah, 5-second video, looks like our Lego are moving on their own, so I'd say we were successful. What do you think?
Second that.
Yeah, still, it's alright. But I think we can do better. We got this whole set back here. So we're going to do that in a second. We'll come back and forth and show you what we're doing. Okay, so we've now made our stop motion video. We just have to do some final edits. So while we were doing that, Isla and I did a time lapse, which you'll be seeing right about now. Maybe right here. Maybe there. Maybe here. We'll see. So just quick video. It took about 10 minutes for us to make it. There is about 93 pictures. So it takes about 18 seconds to play the whole video. Now in that video there's no titles, there's no sound effects, anything like that. And that's because the version of stop motion that we're using doesn't have any of that. It's the free version. So what's one way we could add titles to this since we didn't pay for it?
Well, you can't press the add.
Right, can't do the add button because we didn't pay money for that. Which, here's what happens if you do that. So generally, you would hit the add button. If you paid the extra, you'd do the add button, and you'd hit titles and credits, and it would pop up. But all of these are locked. We can't use any of them. Again, totally fine. There's some cool stuff there, but it's okay. So what's one way we do that instead?
You could write it down on a piece of paper.
Write it on a piece of paper, take a picture of it the same way. How about another way using another app on the iPad?
You can maybe do it in iMovie.
Absolutely. So once you're done with the video, you can export it, put it into iMovie, or if you're not using an iPad, there is KineMaster, which looks like Cinemaster but with a K. There's Power Studio, any video program that you have that has titles, and you can just pop one of those right in there. Now, music. Generally, if you wanted to add music, you would hit the add button, and there's audio. But we didn't pay for it. So what's another way to add music?
You can use music from your phone.
Use music from your phone. So to add a voice recording, you would tap on that button right there, the little speaker. But right now it's grayed out. Why is it grayed out?
Because you're at the end, and there's nothing to add it to.
Exactly. You have to add it to a picture. And what'll happen is it will record for that picture plus all the pictures after until you stop. So you have to go back right where you want it to start. Let's see, in this video, let's have right here, this guy can say, welcome. Do you want to be the voice?
Welcome.
Perfect. Alright, so I'm going to tap on the microphone button. I'm going to hit record. It's going to give me a 3, 2, 1 countdown, and then Isla is going to talk into this mic over here. I'll flip it upside down. Okay, ready?
Welcome home.
And I hit stop directly afterwards. You'll see if the play button comes up, that means that it recorded properly. So let's hit play.
Welcome home.
Perfect. Now, that's just for your voice, but if you wanted to add music, you could play music off your phone. Just hold your phone near the speaker. Again, lots of ways that you could do other things. If you had any music saved onto your device, you can actually add that music as well. Before we do that, though, we need to hit done to make sure we accept it. And you'll notice on that one picture, and if you can't see it there, I'm going to take a screenshot. You'll notice on that one picture there is
There's like a little music.
Yep, the music note. That means that there's some kind of audio on that picture. Now again, if you've got that there, it doesn't mean it's just on that picture. It will play from this point all the way through until the sound is done. The other thing is, if you've got a piece of audio on one photo, you can't add another one. So if we have Isla's voice recording here, and then we want someone else to speak, if we were to record it on that exact picture, it would erase what Isla did. So we would have to go either to the one after, or the one right before. Alright, so before we watch our video back, any tips that you learned while we were making our video?
So you need to get the right angle, and then you just leave it there, because if it moves around, whatever device you're using, it'll just look funny if you keep moving it around. So you just need to leave it where it is and take the pictures.
Now we didn't record this part of it, but it took me about 10 minutes to balance the iPad properly in that Lego box. But it's very important to make sure that that is balanced. So yeah, absolutely. You set your scene. Very first thing you do. You set your scene. You make sure there's no distractions. Nobody's going to be walking around behind it, so that while you're taking pictures, you get a leg randomly, or you get somebody talking on their phone on the couch in the background.
Like my mum. She just, every time we're doing something, she probably is just going to walk through.
She would maybe walk through, yeah, because she does live in this house, and so she sometimes walks through it. Yeah, that'll definitely be a possibility. But yeah, so all of those things, very important. Setting the scene, getting it ready, making sure that your hand is removed before you take a picture, making sure the camera focuses before you take a picture, and I think that's probably it for the basics, right? Yeah?
Yeah.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, that has been Stop Motion Studio. Again, the free version. There is the paid version, which makes adding the music, the photos, some of those titles a lot easier, but you don't need it in order to make a great movie. We're going to add our video right at the end here, and we'll have done some music and sound effects. Of course, you'll hear Welcome Home in it. And we'll put a title card and all of that stuff on it as well. So, all right. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you back with more videos later. Bye.
Bye.
Welcome home.